So, this is it. No bullshit, no fluff. This is the Ellipsis Manual. Scary? Yes. Beautiful? Absolutely. Dangerous? Yes. Very, very dangerous if used incorrectly. Before I go into the book, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me. I'm a business owner. I own a media agency, digital marketing. I love influence. Influence is a topic I absolutely am addicted to. I read books on influence non-stop. It's something that's very dear to my heart. I love the idea of getting somebody to say yes. When you look at somebody like Dale Carnegie or Warren Buffett, who only has a Dale Carnegie certificate in his office. I mean, the guy's got loads of different degrees and masters from different universities, but the only one that he has in his office is the Dale Carnegie course that he did many years ago. So that's just why I love influence. I've read everything from Robert Cialdini, influence, persuasion, hypnotic selling skills. I read a lot of NLP. This book here is an all-in-one. It is everything you can imagine. It is 376 pages, excluding the references, of dense material. There's no fluff in this. If I show you the contents, you're talking some of the most unbelievable persuasion techniques, profiling techniques. I never thought I'd get into profiling, to be perfectly honest. It's not something that I ever had any interest in, but after reading this book, you will want to learn profiling. You'll want to know what's happening, when it's happening. It's very important, and it's certainly something that's very interesting. So who's the author? The author is Chase Hughes. He's been in the US Navy. He's been a US Navy chief for 18 years. I'm a human behavioral expert. I've had the pleasure of speaking with Chase on Facebook. He did not ask me to do this review. I did this. This is the very first video review I will do, or I have done. I will do more. If you subscribe to the idea of influence and persuasion, you will absolutely love this. You'll pick up this book and you won't be able to stop commenting on it. It's just absolutely fantastic. I bought the book because I'm a massive influence fan, as I already said. It's very, very interesting getting people to say yes. It's just fantastic. I love to learn different ideas I can use in meetings, situations, scenarios. There's lots of stuff that you might subscribe to within the book that might help you in your business life. That has definitely helped me. There's a lot of stuff covered, including what is called the behavioral table of the elements. This is a extensive list of different behavioral analysis. It's just behavioral analysis. So head tilt, arms crossing. You've got everything. Eye blink rate, pupil dilation, everything you can think of. And it is exhaustive. Like, I mean, there's a lot to take in. There's a lot to understand. But once you do understand it, it could be incredibly useful for you in your business life. Me, for example, I've been in business meetings where I have spoken to people and I'll notice that their blink rate is quite fast. And that would be an indication to me that they're bored, that they're switched off, that they're disinterested, or what I'm telling them is they might not feel that it's coming from a place of trust or something. So I can then use that information, and for example, I used this quite recently with a solicitor. I noticed that the solicitor in question hadn't been very engaging, so I said her name, and I almost clicked when I said her name, and I noticed her pop out of her trance. A lot of us what I learned from this book is quite scary, is that a lot of us live our lives on autopilot mode, and we can be influenced by the simplest of things. Like, I mean, when you're driving your car, you're in a hypnotic trance. You are actually in a trance every time you get in your car, every time you go to work. Everybody is in a trance-like state most of the time because they are doing the same thing they do every single day. Now, when you think about it, when you drive to work, You don't think about the route. You already know it. You're on autopilot. You drive that route every single day. If you had to think about everything, where would you be? You'd end up in a hole somewhere, because you wouldn't be able to. You'd have too much to think about all the time. So what this book does is it teaches you how to get in the back door of somebody's thoughts, and how to get into their minds, using those and exploiting those trance-like states. One topic that really stood out, that I really liked, that was interesting, was a double bind. A double bind, it can be used by parents, and it is used by parents quite a lot, when they'll say to a child, "Would you like to brush your teeth before or after your bath?" And the child will say, "Before my bath." So now there is a guarantee that the child has actually persuasively said they're going to have a bath, which is usually quite a difficult thing for a parent to do, to get their kid into the bath. But once the parent says, "Would you like to brush your teeth before or after a bath?" Now the child has already agreed to the bath. They just need to decide if they're going to brush their teeth before or after. I thought that was very interesting. I've used this technique before with people, and it does work. He goes into a lot more detail about how to use that stuff. He uses he gives you a lot of examples of how to say things. He will give you sentences. He gives a lot of canned material if that's what you like. He will give you like a list of sentences that you can use in everyday life to do whatever it is in the book that you want to do. A lot of the stuff needs to be learned, mastered, and practiced daily. You can't read this book and just all of a sudden become a master behavioral expert or behavioral engineering human behavior. This stuff needs to be practiced and rehearsed all the time. I've already finished the book, so I'm going to go back and try and learn the behavioral table of the elements. I'm going to try and become fluent at it in as quickly as possible. A lot of the stuff that he covers is trance states, hypnosis, profiling techniques, building rapid rapport, and interestingly enough, at the very end, he goes into a lot of the CIA methods of how they like MK Ultra, stuff of that nature. That's quite scary, quite dark, and you would be very surprised at how little human willpower we actually have. Well worth a read for that alone, just to give you an idea of how powerful everything from advertising to people at work, how everybody influences your behavior. This is Robert Cialdini on steroids. This is him on steroids. This is going into another level of influence and persuasion and hypnosis and trance. But also it can be very good for self-hypnosis and how you could hypnotize yourself, because at the end of the day, before you influence anybody else, you really need to learn how to influence yourself. So if you don't know how to influence yourself, you're kind of going to get stuck. So there is actually a section in the book called "Shutting Off Human Willpower." That's crazy. So definitely give that a read. If you subscribe to Influence, this is the book for you. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Whatever you want to do. Please comment if you have any questions. I would love to answer them. Thank you very much and have a great day.